Good morning. Good morning, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Now, on behalf of Graphic Communication Services Fuji Shop's team, I'd like to extend another warm welcome. Today is our second day of our Digital DocuWorld 2020, transforming businesses in the new normal. Well, as we're about to begin, I would like to maybe just urge you, feel free to raise any questions at any time in the chat box, and we can have a look at the questions during the end of our session. Our topic for this session is rebounding businesses and accelerate through vital applications. Okay, are you ready? Now, let's have a look at our agenda for today. Our topic stands to answer and give light to how we are in an unfamiliar situation, the new normal in print, and how it's actually impacted print businesses. We will talk a bit about concepts of digitizing print and as a transformation and the values of bringing digital transformation closer to you. Now, our speaker later, Azlin, will be bringing to you concepts of accelerate and transform. Then, next, there will be two keywords, application and expectations. We should be diving into the applications and how we actually bring value towards what is expected, current. And as I mentioned earlier, we will move into a quick question and answer. So feel free to drop your messages, drop your questions into the chat box, and we'll have a look later on. All right, next, let's see. Okay, as the first presenter, let us dive in with this question. Are you ready for the new normal? Now, we hear a lot about being in a new normal. It includes a lot of disruption to the way we work, supply chains, longer turnaround times, especially compliance, even with new government programs. Now, to show you what we mean, let's have a look at the next slide. So what I have here is some brief notes from McKinsey. Now, McKinsey and Company. Of course, you can see here. Yes, these are actually available online, so you can actually key in some keywords in Google. You can have a look at the complete notes, but I'm just going to share a bit of some of the key points that I've received from these brief notes and some perspective on what is it all about. Now, the brief note from McKinsey revealed that in general, there's a declining impact across all sectors. So, although many businesses are revealing their efforts to bounce back, trying to achieve a recovery, right? Majority of the business sectors are still in decline. Now, with that said, there are also some good news. We have seen countries that are having early indications of strong containment. This is actually very important. New protocols and resumption of economic activity. The keyword next would be, I'd like to point you to cautious optimism. So we have gradual increase in cautious optimism. Cautious, businesses have started to regain confidence in turn, and this is what we like to hear, increase spending, kickstart spending. Okay. Now, if that wasn't enough, we are also moving from a globalized economy back to a regional aspect. Now, companies start to localize their businesses with efforts to regain their supply chain, partially, if not fully, trying their very best to regain what was theirs. And here's the keyword, closer to end user. Now, for my next point, the word new will always be a surprise. Now, new will apply to us in many practices, be it shopping or working. It will be fluid in the beginning, right? So we won't really know what's going to happen in the beginning, but in the future, what we're seeing is that it will take a strong fixture onwards to what we then treat as the new normal, or in this case, normal. Now, let's have a look at who are most likely the key target market here, the impacted industry. A few keywords. High productivity. Now, what do I mean by high productivity? I mean high job ticket items environment. I mean quick turnaround, short run cycles, right? I believe the viewers and audiences here are quite familiar with what we mean by quick turnarounds and short cycles, right? Everything is done so quickly, so instant at this moment. Now, our general aim here would be print rooms. So what I mean by paper print, it could be paper print, commercial printers, well, of course, in this case, paper print would mean print shops in general, and well, centralized print rooms with cost accounting, a way to actually cost it in, and government print rooms. Now we take a different approach. Let's have a look at something else. I'd like to name a different focus on other demands, such as creative sectors. So I would like to use the word innovative hubs. Okay, now we've seen increased demands from designers and creatives with new online platforms and new business ventures. And these are also companies coming up to be, well, in this case, as I mentioned here, the first to market. Okay, new technologies and etc. Well, it can be in relation to print packaging or trying to reveal their new brand identity. As such, we have seen emergence of new businesses, right? So, of course, new businesses will come, they have to generally start small. So small and medium enterprise companies, right? We have creative agencies, graphic departments, even publishing agencies. So let's think out of the box. These are creative people trying to really show off what they have to the rest of the world. Now, and we don't stop there. We don't stop there, okay? We have intriguing high value drivers. Now, what do I mean by high value drivers? Now, these are businesses that aim to differentiate themselves in the market, right? They want to create a lasting impression and has high-end users in higher-end markets, expensive customer, right? So we are putting a mindset in not the customers being us, but the customer being your customer of the customer. Okay, now let's illustrate some examples. We're talking about things like golden tickets. So, example, if your customer wants, to target their end customer, higher expensive end customers, be it these are premium people, right? Affluent market, packaging boxes, right? Luxury packaging boxes, golden tickets, and the list continues. Okay, we can also see some examples from sectors such as education. Okay. Premium programs maybe, right? Training proposals, seminars, right? Seminars are meant for premium managers, right? Managers, C-levels and above. Then something even a bit different, real estates. Now, we all know property is, well, by value, it's expensive. So let's think of it is in a sense that real estate property sales and marketing, right? Or maybe even before architecture. Okay, maybe we can think of architecture. Imagine if an architect firm wants to win a deal or wants to go through entire process, right, to make a very striking proposal. Right? It could be that. It could be retail packaging. It could be luxury market, right? I bet everyone missed to go to the shopping mall, and now we can, right? So luxury market in certifications, right? In maybe invitations, and the list continues, right? So to move on, what I have here, let's come into a bit of testimonial from what we currently have. There's a quote from Key Point Intelligence. So let's take a more focused approach, looking into Key Point Intelligence. Now we have an article that highlights how commercial printers are impacted directly with COVID-19. Now, understanding that this industry actually takes the approach from major countries impacted. So what do we know? Print jobs related to schools, conferences, and even real estate will actually put on hold, if not cancel. Now, this is quite alarming. But let's think of it at another perspective, another point of view. However, there's another opportunity that came about. Okay? As you can see, there's actually an increase in the transactional side of business. We can see that compliance, communication is as important, especially during this period of crisis. And as mentioned earlier, a lot of print rooms are now looking towards working off-site. Okay, even if they are still available, or even sub to disasters recovery suppliers. So put yourself in a position where print manufacturers, if they are taking like regional perspective, they have no choice but to actually sub them to a more domestic approach in terms of the disaster recovery suppliers. Okay. Now we also have reports on how challenging it is to have this spontaneous initiative, working from home. Wow, we love it, this word, working from home. Yes, it is great, it's great. Some are more productive even, right? But let's put ourselves back into the ground. We're talking about print manufacturing, we're talking about commercial printers. Okay, now these plants, they can't just run without skilled personnel running on site, literally handling the machines. Now, these adjusted shifts and hours make it quite a challenge for them. Okay, and what else? Okay, so we have what was mentioned as a basic common sense is that if you have a healthy balance sheet, of course, now everyone we have to really take a look at our balance sheet. But if you do have a healthy balance sheet, you'll be able to diversify, and the word pivot comes to play. Now, this pivot is well, it's not something new. We are taught as entrepreneurs, as business people, that if something happens, we always have to look at how can we pivot, how can we change, so that we wouldn't fail. Okay? And since this competitive landscape has started to change and will change, only the strong will survive, or in this case, the most efficient operation, right? A compromise. Now, I'll move on to a bit of interesting topic, the Industry 4.0. As I mentioned here, digital disruption towards the new normal. So we are in what we know as a cyber world, right? And Industry 4.0, as information era dawned upon us, we have received a lot of disruption towards the marketplace, right? We've seen keywords such as robots, smart manufacturing, smart factory, Internet of Things, big data. These are all big terms. Automation, right, is becoming clearer and more apparent to us. So Forbes, so what I got is I got an excerpt from Forbes that gives us an easy explanation of what Industry 4.0 would be. Now, it generally is driven from manufacturing. So if we take upon print manufacturing, it's quite similar. So from the first industrial revolution here, okay, we are looking into mechanization through water and steam power to mass production at the second line with assembly lines using electricity in the second. Now, if you talk about the fourth industrial revolution, it actually takes on what we started from the third. Right? It's actually adoption of computer and automation with a hint of smart and autonomous systems fueled by data. Now, the keyword is data and machine learning. So let's think of it as Industry 3.0, or in this case, the Industry 4.0 is an optimized computerization of Industry 3.0. So have a look here. Just a simple illustration. Computers are now connected and can communicate with one another to ultimately make the decision without human involvement. A combination of what we know as cyber physical systems, the Internet of Things, the Internet of Systems, be it, right, make Industry 4.0 possible, and in this case, yeah, smart factory a reality. Now, coming back, we've seen radical shifts as the business start to streamline into digital workflow. Okay, so of course in the past we've seen initiatives, and now this is not new. Yeah? In the past we've seen these initiatives, right, for businesses to consider smart working practices. But now in this time of crisis, our initiatives are much stronger, right? We have to survive. So automation of factory floors, right, or smart manufacturing, smart factories. Now think about, just an example, think about logistics, right? Maybe an example like Alibaba, right? They can use robots, right? This is just an example, right? Smart manufacturing, smart factories, how they utilize all this to process better, to be more efficient, right? But I think sometimes these are all very big. Well, I'm not the factory, right? Some people may think. Let's come back into offices. Okay, so what we can see a correlation between offices and factory floor in a similar setting, a business system, or in this case a workflow. We have reached to a point where now performance is now tested without a support of a traditional workspace. Just remember, just now I mentioned work from home, right? And furthermore, we can see that there are new disruptive revenues, new streams are being spun up, right? I'm talking about new businesses, or in this case, existing businesses, but new diversifications. So the moral of this piece, right, is that digital workflow during the times of tremendous stress can allow, and the keyword is maintain, can allow for you to maintain a relative normal levels of productivity. So imagine that you used to be able to handle 100% capacity, right? And this happens. Think about digital workflow, right? It allows you to maybe maintain that kind of normal levels of productivity. Of course, 100% is very optimistic, right? Now, to me, that actually shows enormous potential. And these are not my words, these are words that come directly from the report. Of course, in this pandemic, right, that is upon us, we never thought that what we are doing now, we have to do things differently. You know, those prepared to function, work from home, as I mentioned earlier, have no option but to continue. Now, take for example, if your home does not have a good connection, in terms of internet, maybe internet connection, you have no choice but to continue and bear with it. Right? Now, this is something that, you know, we have to consider. Let's prepare ourselves and really take this opportunity to really consider what digital workflows, or in this case, the word digital can do for you. Moving on, let's see some other examples. Now, this is something that I believe would be much more interesting. What I found is I found a McKinsey and company on action plans that actually could assist to address customer needs directly and prepare for the future. Right, so have a look. Right now, this is definitely, you can get this online. So I'm not going to go into the details, but let's just have a look at some of the titles here. The first step would be to care on concern. Care and concerns, right? Care and concern towards the customer. Okay. And the second one is move closer, or in this case, meet your customer where they are, right? And you can see here that they use the word innovate digital models to help the customer. Okay. But let's have a look. This is something more intriguing to me. Reimagine a post-COVID-19 world. Now, this is where we are. I like to point this. As you can see here, migrate customer to digital channels to boost satisfaction. This is directly from their words, McKinsey and company. And then you move into agile, right? The word agile comes to play. Agile for fluid times. Now, the ability to be fluid and embrace this change will now be seen as a norm. Of course, in manufacturing, we are known to be lean, right? We're known to follow factory floors or lean processes, but there's a specific form of agile that you can think of. Okay. Now, crisis, we received some feedback or comments on improvement. Now, this improvement regarded as a different notion. So, I mean, we talk about improvement, right? And our key topic here, the word accelerate comes to mind. Accelerate. So, from listening to customers and when we talk about change, you'll be glad to know that since you're here, you already possess what we call a change driver, a notion to shift within the behavior. Okay, so let's think of this. How can we gain from this change? Where can we shift on value from behavior to value, right? And the transformation as a new way of being. Okay, so remember, shift from behavior to just a general, it's pretty much very similar mindset, similar concept, but instead of behavior, shift to value, and then think that transformation can be and will be the new way of being. Now, to show you what we mean, I would like to introduce the idea of digital transformation. Now, imagine if you can receive such benefits such as improvement of customer engagement, and I'm talking about within this crisis, right? You can still have conditions in working environment where you can see employee, and is still able to employee experience enhance, okay? To even reduce risks, and of course in human error, everyone is so cautious right now, right? And this actually brings you an opportunity to achieve cost savings. And well, in this case, since it's digital, you can achieve some simplistic workflow, making it hassle-free, right? And my favorite word, accelerate the business to the next level. Okay. Now, to get some insights into the topic, it is my pleasure to actually welcome our next presenter, Azlin Abdul, to present on the next topic to get more details. I'll pass it to you, Azlin.
Thank you, Wayne. Good morning, everyone. So, continuing from now, we from Fuji Xerox would like you as our customer to explore the knowledge and keep the skill set current with our latest offering. Now, there are many different ways to accelerate and transform your business. Now, let's talk about what business growth involves. We all have a pretty good idea what goes into this. But every operation has a slightly different take on which aspect is the most important. And I'm going to explore with you on adding new capabilities and offering more services help to increase your market appeal and potential customers. Your current customers already know your capabilities and quality, so it makes sense to see what other work you can do for them. Application are the key. Now, using this 5-step plan, consider how new application can rebounding and drive growth in your business. Now, understanding your customer needs, your competition, you can put a plan into place to offer high demand application. Now then, you can market those applications with the support of the technology and the software solution that expand your capabilities and print versatilities. Of course, the results: more departments, more customers using your services, more print jobs moving through your operation, and more value being delivered. So this slide is the survey done by Infotrend based on various types of a value-added special effects and the samples. And the print buyer expectation on this print sample using a foil, spot color, metallic, and textured in this case is the emboss and deboss, draw attention with the highest ratings. Why has seen as a niche application, example printing on colored stocks, or clear film, or mixing with other colors and substrate to achieve unique special effects. And I also would like to highlight on this part here, where infrared and UV is also considered hidden tags that can provide some security. Attractive design? Yes, we can highlight the characteristic of this design by applying a clear, like a watermarking, applying metallic silver, metallic gold or gold, and white was viewed as a niche market for color paper, as you can, it's more stand out. And as you can see from the sample here, the one which is printed on just a CMYK has less impact as compared to the one that is printed on with white underlaying. And for this, white is also used as a backing to print on clear as an interleaf or applications such as wobbler. Now, for this, multiple metallic color is easy to achieve. However, it is hard to handle in this case for offset printing, as multiple metallic spot color ink needs to be used. Now here are various types of live application and customers' valuable feedback. A book covers and with metallic or without metallic. And for this customer actually looking for something unique, something stand out with their current menu. And they approach the right people, where this print provider actually proposed something to have a effects, and they delivered this with a good quality, and their customers are so happy, and it also helped to boost their sales with this elegant menu. Now this coffee table book is with the metallic effect, and also some pages are on the color paper. And for this book, it's actually a rush job with a small quantity. And even the print provider have a tight production schedule, they managed to slot to print this book with a small quantity and produce with a short period of time with great output quality as well as perfect finishing. Now, short run packaging for small volume packaging opportunities on 400 GSM paper. This will help new business launch when they're not sure of the volume, when they're launching a trial products or trying new types of packaging. And this carton design is unique and it's impressed the customer when they actually print their client name on the packaging box. Now the designer may just pick up from a premium metallic swatch or metallic silver or metallic gold swatch from the swatch library to start design their artwork without having to think how to mix this color to get the desired metallic effects. Brochures or point of sales that is wanted to print on thicker paper, 400 GSM. So these are all can easily be achieved. Now this is another great example of digital printing, and the print provider also plan to explore more of this kind of unique product, example like the wobbler, and for this retail and also health industry. Now, here are another application sharing on this side of business, healthcare and the financial vertical market. As from this application, which is regulated and compliance combination, has not slowed down. Now, those printers that has a major account in medical and financial industries has yet to be impacted. So these patient manuals with a color cover and black and white, a financial report, financial newsletter, and all this still must be produced. And these are also applications that we have seen some growth on posters, flyers, and forms. In fact, there is potential that this volume may increase as all this application is required for awareness campaign, example like to print on this long paper. And with the latest finisher, we can also offer applications such as this full healthcare booklet, flyers, and weeklies, and etc. So now I move on to application with software solutions. Brochures and other marketing materials are the primary application that could benefit from adding special metallic effect enhancements, as personalized collateral documents would make more of an impression. Impactful direct mail, or also known as one-to-one marketing. So these are promotional documents that require to give a premium feel and to differentiate this from other brand or printed pieces. Okay, here is the example of health development report, and it's variable. So when we talk about variable data printing, we always wanted it to be easy to use and also can help to increase productivity. So what can we do more to make this piece more available? Now, as you can see here, each piece or each recipient will receive a variable text and content, unique graphic, a different variable design layout color based on age and gender, and all these contents are based on the profile information from the database, example like CSV. Now why are we doing all this personalization and customization? Obviously designers and the brand owners, in this case the hospital, are looking for their print to work as hard as possible so that this piece can give them or draw valuable customers or prospect attention, as well as enhance the corporate image. So here are the different types of variable data printing documents to meet the effective marketing objective. The example here, this calendar. So not only variable name with text, variable names with blend with image also can be achieved. Example, this calendar. As nowadays, more and more when people print, they want it to be special, unique, and stand out. And I personally still keep the past year's calendar because it creates somehow rather an emotional and personal connection. Now, vouchers, another area that great to look at on healthcare side. So this book is a result of annual healthcare checkup that they print for the patients. And as for the last page, it will insert a gift vouchers with regards to health problem conditions such as health checkup package based on age and gender. And this coupon display a different content, pictures, barcode, as per the condition promotion defined in the database. Now, as for digital channel, for this healthcare industry, microsites can also be created, where in this case, for a newborn baby, the parents can monitor their baby development report that display the information and graph, and the parents will receive an email for visiting the site. So all this can help generate volume as well as connection between the patients and the hospital, as this industry is competitive as well. Okay, still with variable data printing and along with a Xerox special imaging fonts, it is an easy and affordable way to add eye-catching effects and also can act as a basic level of fraud protection by using all these hidden tags. Now, it can be used for a variety of security-related applications. The example that I'm showing here is on the certificates. And I have embedded 4 types of hidden tags here. The first one is the micro tags, which print the fonts size smaller than 1 point. And we have text pattern, which is the font is printed inside this word certificate. Now, these two can only be viewed under the loop or magnifying glass. Now, the third one is the correlation effect. When we print these documents, it will look like this. And when this document is viewed with using the transparency key that we just print using the normal transparency, the hidden text, in this case, the word Fuji Xerox will pop up. Okay, and the fourth one, the one you see this bar vertical and horizontal, is using the UV hidden text, and it's only visible when this document is viewed under the UV light. So all this, right? Why are we doing all this? Is help to protect this document from duplication or from tampering with images, effects while creating a vibrant design. So without any programming skill and very minimum training, customer can straight away start using this for their variable data printing application. So now the application with metallic. So this is the common application name card with metallic effect is mind-blowing. The designers can just pick up from any of the metallic swatch from the swatch library to start doing their design. Another great example is this invitation cards. Now, silver is used as an underlay on this sample, and silver and gold can be mixed together or combined with CMYK to create a vibrant spot colors, photographic enhancement and more. Now, areas where silver is mixed with CMYK is to create a warm metallic colors. And all this is done in line in a single pass and only with digital technology. So media flexibility as a general for all this type of paper. Now here are some basic preferences of choosing a suitable paper for different types of application. Example, this clear film that we use to print for car window for a wobble display. The color media, which we use white to make it more stand out. on a craft paper. Foil card, foil paper, foil sticker to create a more sparkling, more shining effects. And art card, art paper for long banner printing. Now, aside from healthcare and financial market segment, we have compiled all these applications, such as a media book here, to showcase the rich image quality, the media flexibility, and the print versatilities. Now, with this digital printing, this application can be produced across all industries. So we from the GCS team are more than happy to share with you this visual at your convenience. Yes, we have new offerings and opportunity. So stay tuned with us, as coming very soon, we have a new opportunity on pink, which is a vibrant color that pops up. We have a standard color gamut, which is currently, this is the CMYK color space, and now with the extension of the pink color gamut, we can now create a more vivid and eye-catching design. Then we can produce a brighter orange, brighter red, violet and purple color to handle those corporate brand colors. And with that, it also can help to improve those Pantone colors as compared to the normal CMYK. With these new capabilities, those applications that previously are not able to produce, especially to produce those brand colors, or due to the system capabilities or job has been outsourced previously, can now be realized and produced with a dramatic fluorescent pink. Now, in digital transformation, let's take a look at this winning point from all the challenges that we have faced to produce this application. Obviously, stunning, superb image quality, the media flexibility to print those applications, the metallic effects capabilities that we have done across all our applications. We have new technology, we have solutions to handle those personalization, customization, which current offset is not able to handle. The short turnaround time, faster turnaround time to produce those job for short print quantities and for on-demand job, and all this definitely will help to increase the volume. So obviously, from all the application samples that we have shared, we have presented, all of those will deliver increased volume and also unmatched value to contribute to your business. And it helps to improve your customers' engagement, and the most important, it helps to accelerate your business, as we are ready to help you grab all this piece of that volume. So that's all from me. Thank you for your attention, and now I put you back to Wayne. Over to you, Wayne.
And I am back. Okay. Now, well, plenty of food for thought. Thank you, Azlin, for such an insightful journey in print applications. A lot of keywords here. Well, emotional in terms of using vital application to create such a feeling, right? The calendars. Well, I remember when I do have my calendar printed with my name. I was definitely thought there's a very big effort, and I definitely keep that calendar. So let's do a quick recap. Now we have talked about what is the current crisis and how it's actually impacted the print industry. We have also talked about how differentiation and transformation can be beneficial towards businesses post COVID-19, and how specific industries can accelerate during this bounce back. Just like I mentioned, we can try to increase back these sales, the bounce back with the help of specialized print applications, vital applications. So to close this off, I'd like to share the final slide, which is actually only 3 direction. And now this is actually, I've got this information from Deloitte. So Deloitte came up with 3 information, which is very powerful. Stop the bleeding, right? Now, how do we stop it? Like, I use some keywords: pivot, restructure, on new opportunities, right? I'll dive that into in the later session, just a bit later. But finally, what we are aiming to actually achieve is to stabilize the business. And when we talk about stabilize the business, is to implement it well and of course reap the rewards, right? Let's have a look. Stop the bleeding. Yes, I mentioned analyze the business, come up with a restructuring plan, pivot, okay, and implement. Let's dive in a bit. What are the examples? Now, do an analysis. Have a look at your cash, your reserves, right? Your diagnostic. Have a look at that. Then perform an analysis with all this data that you just received. And of course, when that happens, you have to plan, you have to prioritize, look into new opportunities. And as I mentioned earlier, once the implementation goes well, reap the benefits of cash achievements. Okay. With that note, I would like to say thank you. Now, let's have a look at the chat box to see if you have any questions from this session.
Okay, thank you very much to Wayne and Azlin. Okay, we'll go ahead and take some time for questions now. We have a few questions here. Okay, for those who would like to address your questions, please make sure you type your questions in the Q&A panel. Right, the first question to you will be, is the toner base safe for direct contact with food packaging?
Wow, that is a very powerful question, I would say a technical question. Okay, let's have a look. We are talking about toners. Okay, we are, of course, in digital, we use toners, we use emulsion aggregation method of toners, and in this case, we all know it as being dry. Now, in labeling, in food packaging, well, labeling per se, I came across an article that actually shared with us that different applications do require different digital technologies. Now, in this case, can be in ink, can be in digital ink as well, or digital toners. But to come into this, it's actually quite exciting. Now, this is an example, just on top of my mind. Food safety is more to a concept of migration. Now, there's a word called migration. So it is actually just a simple example for those that have not come across this word. The transfer of substances from the packaging to the packed goods. And now this is something that the consumers worry a lot. So to measure this, right, normally we will go through some, there's a specific word called a migration limit, if I'm not wrong, specific migration, SML, right, to actually gauge on that specific portion. But what we learned that most important factors that contribute to this kind of migration is the size of the molecules can be the ink or the toner. Of course, the larger the molecules, the tendency to migrate would be lesser, right? The temperature migration is a bit faster when it comes into higher temperature. So imagine if it's melted or heated, right? And the nature of the food, it can be fatty food, it can be more oil, so liquid. There's a keyword here that we can get from here, this liquid, and the nature of the packaging material. So again, the packaging materials come into play, and of course the type of coating. So now, to answer this question, okay, let me just give you a quick piece here. Toners can be in dry and can be in liquid form. But what we found out is that liquid toners is actually less suited for food label printing because it has what we call a carrier liquid. Right, usually mineral oil is being used that evaporates during this process. So there's also, of course, a UV curable inkjet, right? But let's come back into dry toner process. Now, the dry toner process is what Fuji Xerox employs. Right? So when it comes to packaging, actually, it not only qualifies, it's actually much more of, I would say, an advantage because in terms of the print resolution, in terms of the consistent dot positioning, but here we talk about we talk about being liquid form and dry form. Dry form definitely stands out so much better. So my answer to you is yes, there won't be any issue with food and safety. However, depending on what food, whether it's oily or not, and also what type of media, what type of packaging. So, I mean, we can dive into this further, but what I would suggest is just give us a call. Give us a call, talk to our specialists. We have specialist team that is, such as myself, that is very eager to help you with this, to give you more information on this. But just to share with you, considering all those points, the dry toner for digital press is undoubtedly, I believe, the best option for those who want to print food labels digitally. And of course, in this case, respect the market demand, just I mentioned SML, right? And if you want to find out more about food label printing, just very simple, Google it, right? There are a lot of boards of in terms of food and safety, these type of associations that you can get more information. But using digital presses for food is not something new. I hope that answers your question. Yes, I'm ready for the next question if you have.
Okay, thanks, Rain. Very well answered. We still have another question coming from you. If my document is having a, this is from Eric. If my document is having a spot color element, how does the printer detect it? Will it be able to print through spot color?
If my document having is on your side.
Very good question. Okay, I finally understand what that means. Okay, now if the document actually has a spot color element, right, how would the printer be able to detect it? Now, of course, this is in terms of Fuji Xerox, one of our solutions. Now, all our printers actually come with a print server, and it's done automatically. That's the beauty of it. So a design can be sent to us, and as in a point of a designer, we do come across swatch colors, we do come across spot colors, and the thing about digital is it can be done automatically. Now, of course, as I mentioned earlier, for us to dive into this, I think I could definitely get another solution expert to share more on this detail with you on terms of the spot color. But my answer to you is that we are ready, we have solutions like this to actually cater to this. It is as simple as one click. Thank you.
Okay, we have another question from Eric. What is underlay or overlay?
Okay. Well, we have not touched on any topic on underlay and overlay, but just as a sharing perspective. Now, okay, in the printing industry, we do come across multiple passes in print, and in passes in print, for dry toner for digital presses, it is actually a single pass. Now, Fuji Xerox. Okay, let's talk a bit about other than Fuji Xerox. I would say other brands. Even in this case, inkjet printers. Now, inkjet printers go through, they can actually do printings on what we call as an underlay. So imagine a transparency, right, where they print on one layer, as what they call as underlayer. So since the transparency, we would like to print, maybe an example would be white, right, to act as an underlay, to create a base, per se. Then you add additional colors on top, and then you add another color, and that is a combination of underlay and an overlay. Okay, so let's bring into now Fuji Xerox. We have a fantastic new flagship model. I would not like to get so much into that on that specific machine, but we have up to 6 colors. Now, what does that mean? CMYK, it's only 4 colors. Imagine now you can actually print on the transparency in digital in a single pass, okay, to achieve underlay and overlay on digital platform, right? So in previously, this can be only done with white inkjet, where they go through row by row form. But now you can achieve it in a card sheet format, in a digital format. That's something to think about. Thank you.
Okay, I think we have 2 more questions from the same customers who asked about the food packaging.
Yes.
Okay, so in short, is Fuji Xerox toner food grade safe? Can it be in direct contact with the food?
Okay, now coming back into whether it is actually food grade safe, as I mentioned earlier. But I just need to share this out. Fuji Xerox toner is what we call an emulsion aggregation toner. Okay, and technically, based on the SML guidelines, these are toners that is applicable in the food grade market, in food packaging market. Now, coming back into answering your question, we really need to see what packaging material are you printing. I cannot assure you to say that digital printing based from Fuji Xerox is applicable for your specific product. Let's have a chat. Let's talk about this and dive in further. Thank you.
Okay, we still have a few more questions coming in. Vin, the next question will be, we always talk about upsell and sell value. Do you have any example how it can be done?
This is a very good opportunity for me to share on one of the success case in terms of commercial print. Now, I have a customer that comes from offset. We Fuji Xerox have a customer that comes from offset that transform into digital. So imagine this. This is, of course, we won't be revealing any names, but just a quick case. It's a success case. This is a customer that actually provides a regional printing platform for regional countries. Example for Indonesia, for Thailand, for major corporate customers wanting to print some of their brochures, posters, and even some leaflet inserts to products, which is very good. What they did was they diversified. They looked towards moving from an offset perspective to try to complement in terms of a digital perspective. Now, just mind you, this is a customer that is very seasoned, a very seasoned customer, and very focused and based in offset. What we have done is we have impressed him with our latest flagship model to have, again, based back on this topic, specialty color. We make them stand out from the normal print service provider. So we understand that this is a market that is full of competition. So we use this method to try and allow our customers to stand out to the end users. Right? Now, as I mentioned, this customer is very seasoned, and being seasoned, they are not even thinking of retiring yet. Wow, they are seasoned, they are very offset, and yet they're still looking into digital platforms. Okay, so yeah, that is one of the cases that came on top of my mind. Thank you.
Okay, we still have another question here for you. Would you be able to explain an example of digital workflow in the new normal?
An example of digital workflow. Okay, this is a very good question. Now, let's see. In the new normal, think of yourself as using a digital print room. Okay. Of course, I've given a lot of examples previously for print manufacturing in terms of commercial printers, in terms of centralized print rooms, big machines. Now, just put yourself in a view of being in a digital print room. All you need is one user, enough to handle all the prints, right? But think of it as a complement for the print room and shorter run cycle. So you could always try to maintain such productivity moving into this type of digital platform. So let's just talk a bit about the workflow. Yeah. Imagine receiving a proof, or in this case, a design, right? And in this design, what you have done previously is you need to check, of course, in terms of the proofing. I use some keywords like Pantone colors, right? You need to do that to make sure, you need to do calibrations, and this is a lot of hassle, a lot of work, right? But now imagine in digital form, this design can be sent to the printer. And when we talk about printer, right, we talk about a print server. Okay. Now, a print server is what complements a digital platform. Okay, this is where you can actually have complement softwares that can run within the server itself instead of just accepting it as a print queue. Right, you can have imposition being made within the server, and the most important is run an automatic pre-flight. My keyword is automatic pre-flight testing. So you don't have to do this manual testing yourselves. You can run an automatic pre-flight to check whether this file is suitable for print. right? Whether the colors are there, right? Whether it's spot color and all this kind of information. And on top of that, moving into the machine, send it to print within moments, print on a variety of digital media resources that is within your choosing. Now, of course, I mentioned earlier as digital media. So digital media is a keyword here. Now, in our era of this type of printing evolve, we have evolved to a point that digital printers can accept media thickness up to 400 GSM. Right now, in this case, even if the color or dimensions is not suitable, right, because we are printing cut sheet. Now, and I mentioned imposition, so it can be in a book, it can be in form of name cards. Changes can be made without doing tweaking on the hardware. You see, color changes is just one click away. Calibration can be done automatically. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
Okay, that was great. Wayne, let us see whether we still have any other questions for Wayne and Azlin. Okay, the next question we have for Wayne is, what is your view on VTP applications in this part of the world, especially Malaysia, or specifically Malaysia? Could you please share your experience?
Okay, wow, we talk about VDP. Well, just now Azlin actually mentioned a lot about wider applications. VDP standing for variable data printing, very personal. I feel it's very personal. Now, the question here is, in this case, when we talk about, in very specific, we talk about Malaysia as a region. Now, in Fuji Xerox, we are a global company, so we see it in many regions of the business. And what we've seen is that in Malaysia, it is growing, definitely. Right? We have seen VDP in many applications. Right? Just think about it. How do you receive a credit card? Do you think the person purposely type it in one by one? No. It's all done with a software, and that is only in print for just credit cards application. It could be it in your address, right? A calendar perhaps. It can be, the applications is there, right? So I wouldn't say Malaysia, we are very seasoned. There are definitely opportunities for you to grow in that, to stand out, to be the first, right? But there are solutions already available for VDP, for variable data printing, and it's not only limited to names. It's also, it can be in, imagine it can be in ticketing, it can be in tickets, it can be in invitations, right? It's such a wide application, right? So future-proof yourself. Think of how VDP can actually help you. In the region of Malaysia, I say, yes, we do have customers. In my experience, we do have customers employing these big names even, right? But for this session, I just end it here. Thank you.
Okay, that goes our last question for this session. Thank you very much to Wayne and Azlin, and thank you all for attending. Now, you may scan the QR code or go to the link as shown on the screen, complete and submit the form, and you might be one of our lucky winners to win a mystery gift from us. Thank you very much. We will now end our morning session and we'll resume this afternoon at 2 p.m. You may check for the updated event link at our event information site, the same page you clicked to join this session earlier. Just click on the link 20th May 2020, 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Please refresh the browser from time to time as well. Thank you.